What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining in. I am super excited to be doing a fun live juice chat tonight with my friend Evie Kevish. And we're going to see if we can get Evie to join in. There she is. And put in the chat where you're joining in from tonight. Always fun to see where everyone is coming in from. Just 1 second. Lined up here. There she is. Evie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you
Let me
hear me
get
okay?
yes, I can. Let me get my volume up a little bit. I think we're all set. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me tonight.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. Truly feel honored.
Absolutely. We've been following each other for a while and chatting back and forth and supporting each other through, what we do on Instagram. And I found out through our communications that we're, fellow Indiana people, fellow Hoosiers together, which is kind of unique in the juicing world. I don't know too many other people that do what we do in Indiana.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Very niche community, especially us being this close. I'm like, yes, it's so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We made the trip yesterday. I'm still a little groggy. We actually drove down to Florida yesterday. So
Nice.
I'm in warmer weather, which is nice. Although I looked at the weather today and it looks like Indiana's getting some good stuff, or at least better than normal.
Yes, it is actually nice out today. And I noticed you had only a t-shirt on, so I'm like, all right, where are you at?
Something's up. Something's up. Yeah,
Yes.
my mother-in-law moved to Florida last July, and since she moved down here, we found some good excuses to come down, and we really enjoy it. So
Oh, I bet.
it's been fun to come down. I didn't really know too much about Florida, and it's a lot of natural areas and trails, and we love to get in the water and all that Florida has to offer, the wildlife, birds. So it's been super cool to explore Florida a little bit for sure.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yes, I know. We're hosting a retreat in Florida, and I've been to Florida a few times, but definitely looking forward to being closer to the equator, sun, warmth, fresh fruit, all of that.
Tropical fruit. Yeah,
Yes.
I saw that. So we'll get into that retreat. I saw you post about that. I'm super excited to hear more about that. What you've got going with that. So we'll definitely get into that and cover that a bit here in a minute. But fill me in a little bit on your journey. How did you end up? I've been watching your progress, and man, you're slaying it in the weight room. You're slaying it in business. Your motivation gets me motivated, and so I want to know how in the world you ended up kind of where you're at right now with juicing kind of being the central component of that. So just kind of maybe how'd you arrive at where you're at right
Sure.
now?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. So I'll kind of just rewind a little bit and tell you a little bit about my journey. I never had any problems or issues health-wise at all. I always thought I was healthy, always worked out, and kind of took care of myself. And then it really wasn't until after college I was kind of still working out and just like lost and just doing the same workouts and like eating the same foods and didn't really know anything about food, nutrition, or really programming working out. So
Mm-hmm.
then I joined CrossFit when I was 33, and I learned so much about food and nutrition at that time.
Okay.
So the CrossFit community really focuses on being paleo. So I was
Yeah.
paleo for a year, and I stopped eating red meat and pork when I was 16. So I only ate chicken, turkey, fish, and I continued that from 16 to 35.
Okay.
Um, so I, learned about the paleo life, and then I had seen tremendous gains in my strength. I also leaned out. I felt really good. And I was like, okay, this is working. Well, then I got pregnant after 2 years of CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
And once I became pregnant, the smell or taste of meat just repulsed me, like
Repulsed. Wow.
so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, after I have the baby, I'll be able to go back and eat or whatever, but I couldn't. So I did still consume animal products. I ate eggs and
Mm-hmm.
dairy, like yogurt and things like that, but could not get back to the meat.
Yeah.
So during this time, this is again like around my mid 30s, I started researching more and more. And what really opened my eyes was learning about nutrition and CrossFit. And then it kind of like unraveled this whole process. So I started watching the documentaries, What the Health, Forks
Right.
Over Knives. And then that starts opening things up into all these other rabbit holes, which I'm sure you know. And
Yeah.
I started realizing, the agriculture. I learned about Monsanto, GMOs, the chemicals. And
Mm-hmm.
as an educated woman, I was like, well, I don't want to be eating this stuff. I don't want my husband
Sure.
eating this stuff. So then I started, like, I was more a vegetarian, pescatarian, I guess you could
Mm-hmm.
call it at that.
Sure.
And then I watched Dominion, and that
Okay.
was the nail in the coffin for me. I couldn't even get through all of it.
Done.
And after I watched that, that was it. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And as you are on this path and journey, I feel like you just continue to move up if you want
Yeah.
that. And I
Yeah.
feel to have and achieve higher consciousness and to be at high vibrations, you cannot consume,
No.
evil, bad things and slaughtered animals, which puts bad karma into your body. You are consuming death. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel and believe that when you eat that, you are taking in that
Yeah.
pain, that suffering. And I don't want to be that. I'm
Yeah.
not that kind of person. So made the change and decided to become vegan. So
So
then
what year?
from
What back
there,
up? What year would that be when
that was it'll be 2 years ago this July. So on my 40th birthday, I became
Okay.
vegan. Okay.
Nice.
hmm And then when I became vegan, I'm like, well, what am I going to eat for breakfast? Because I always had hard boiled eggs and avocado toast, right?
Right.
So
That's like
that's
the
when I started.
keto
Yes,
paleo breakfast, right?
yes, 100%. And I really liked it. I'm like, these taste good, it's good, whatever. But then when I started thinking about it, it was like a psychological thing where I was like, all right, I'm eating chicken embryos. You know what I mean? Like, I just started thinking all these things. I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So then the power of social media, when you use it the right way, I
Sure.
found, I started kind of like thinking, okay, well, let me try some fruit or whatever. So I started doing fruit smoothies. I did fruit smoothies for about a year and a half. And then as I was kind of sharing my journey through social media, I started seeing, other people with hashtags of fruit, juice, and stuff like that. So then that brought me into the juicing world.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in 2019.
Okay.
So I started juicing. I bought a juicer and I was like, I'm just going to try it just to see if I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my first cleanse last year and I felt like amazing,
Right.
amazing. So good, so good. So after
So
that,
was it like New Year's, kind of like a New Year's Day type of thing? January
yes,
1st, let's pull the trigger. Let's do how long did you do juice only?
yes, I did juice only. That was the first time ever, no solid foods. I
Uh-huh.
was like thinking, oh my God, am I going to make it? And, it was my first time, so I didn't know. So I just had the 12 ounce versus the quart,
Right.
and it was like, I felt like good because I'm like, okay, I can do it. But it was more psychological because I'm like, I'm used to eating food. So it was that kind of like getting out of that routine.
Yeah.
Um, so then, I just was like, all right, well, let me try the juice and see. And then from there, I mean, Brett, it was like, oh my God. I mean, like I felt so good and so amazing. I'm like, I can't stop now.
I
So
gotta keep
then I
rolling. Yeah, yeah.
started, yeah, and I started my husband and then my kids because I'm like, man, what a great way to get, fruits and vegetables into your kids because if they're struggling with that, it's the perfect way. My kids love the juice. It's so good. And every day it's the first thing that goes into their body. So I
So
feel that like protects them. Like their health is so good. My kids are 6 and 4. They've had common colds here and there, but overall, they've never been sick.
That is
I've never
great.
taken them to the doctor for anything.
That is great.
So, yeah, and as I started sharing my juices, and just so many people were intrigued and kept asking me, and it just got to be so much. And I told my husband, I'm like, there's got to be something out there that I can do more or learn more, because I want to help people with this, but I don't really know, what I'm doing. So that's when I found the Juice Guru Institute, and I decided, you know what, let me do this. I want to do it because that is
Cool.
my passion. Like, I love helping people
Mm-hmm.
and showing people the way. And like you know, like we are so the holistic route, and that is my passion, to show people there are other ways to heal if you give your body the right conditions.
Right.
So yeah, so now I've learned so much. I'm still learning so much. I've incorporated intermittent fasting, so I've been doing that in addition to the juicing. And really I've been trying to show and prove to people that, you can still be lean and cut and strong without all the protein and the protein shakes and the
Mm-hmm.
meat and all the protein powder and all that. So I am absolute testament of pure strength. I don't take any type of anything, just fruits, intermittent fasting. And that's why I show people, like, yes, I can deadlift 250 pounds on solid fruit, okay? So
I
just
see
trying to
it.
show people.
I see your videos. I'm like, this girl is just crushing it in the gym, and we're not talking at like 2 in the afternoon. I'm talking at like 5 a.m. Central
Yes.
Time. Evie is banging it out in the gym. Weights are, you know, going. They're crashing on the floor, and you are. I mean, you're an animal in the gym, and people think that this has to be, you know, an animal based or a high protein driven activity that you're doing, and you are a living testament that it's not necessary. It's not necessary. And I just think that's such an inspiring message, and I hope people can really pick that out about your method and what you're doing and see how it's working, because I see it for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And honestly, I mean, I don't know anybody else, within the CrossFit community like me. I don't know any other athletes or moms my age that do what I do. And I'm not saying what I do is the right fit for you or someone else.
Sure.
You have to find what works for you and only you. But I know, as a 41-year-old woman that can deadlift 250 pounds, I know what works for me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know, and I've proven to myself, okay, yes, I did the paleo, I did this and that, but now it's a whole nother level because I feel so good. And that's it. So many people are like, how do you get up that early and you have that much energy and you that much? And it's like, the juice is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It gives you the vitamins, the minerals, and nutrients, and helps you feel alive and energized. And I honestly, I feel so good. And people ask me, like, does your back hurt? Do your knees hurt? Do you have
Mm-hmm.
pain? No,
Yeah.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. And too, no
Absolutely.
inflammation, no pain. You feel so good. And, unfortunately, my grandma passed away with a lot of ailments, and
Yeah.
she couldn't walk by the end. And that was really an alert to me, like, I don't want to be like that when I get old.
Yeah.
I want to be free. And I feel like our society just has accepted, older people just, well, when
Have
you
to
get
be
old,
that
you
way.
just take medication, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's just how it is. Not me, honey. I'll be the one, 97 years old, deadlifting 300 pounds because Evie Kevish does not play, all right? I'll be going to the eyebrow.
Well, I love it. And, I think that's so, it's so spot on, because I think people just see so much of it. It's been in my family. I think it's so very common for our elderly family members to go through that, and maybe not so elderly family members to go through those aches and pains and, dementia and just, racks full of pills and things to keep them alive. And it's not necessary. There's a different way to go through with it. And I think the message that that it's possible without it is super cool.
Mhm.
And I'd like to back up a little bit to the CrossFit side of things, and the you know, the weightlifting and the fact that most of that CrossFit community that I've been exposed to, you know, I don't do CrossFit personally, but what exposure I've had to CrossFit typically involves more of a high fat, high protein type of paleo or keto type lifestyle. And I think one of the things that always gets my attention is if it requires a stimulant of any type as part of the process or the method, it kind of sends up an alarm bell to me. You know, why should we need a stimulant to energize us? We don't need, naturally, we don't need these stimulants to get us through the day or to get us rolling. We don't need the coffee with MCT oil or coconut oil in it, branch chain amino acids, or whatever else that gets thrown into that. And I think seeing stimulants as a part of that is an alarm bell in my mind. And my guess is you're not cranking coffee in, you know, or high caffeine pre-workouts before you do your thing at 5 in the morning. You're up, you're amped, and you're ready on your own volition and under your own power. And I think that's something important to point out about what you're doing versus what maybe that community that you you know, train with does dig in on. I mean, am I true with that? Am I thinking
Yes,
correctly
I
there?
agree 100%. I will tell you, you know, I used to take pre-workout every morning because I liked feeling cracked out. You know,
Yeah.
like I love that like surge, and then when you're working out, you just get that. It's like a mental thing. But
Mm-hmm.
then when I'm done and showering, getting ready, putting my makeup on, I'm like trying to do eyeliner like this,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, all right, you know, like, and then you feel like, okay, 9 o'clock comes and you're like, you know, just like whatever.
Beat.
You feel terrible.
Yeah.
Um, I never drink coffee. I've never been a coffee drinker. I do coffee enemas, but not, I don't drink it.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but I would say for sure, yes. I feel like definitely it's super into heavy protein, and everything that I know now, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I think your pH levels are so acidic. You wonder why you got COVID and all these other things. Well, you're
Mm-hmm.
eating slaughtered animals, you're consuming high protein diet,
Mm-hmm.
all the acids and all that. So again, I don't judge anyone. You know, it's
Yeah.
like if people want to do that and consume that and that's their thing, whatever, that's fine. That works for you. But
Yeah.
me personally, Evie Kevish, again, just showing everyone that yes, you go to bed, get a good rest, you wake up, you feel energized, and what I'm putting in my body every day. You know, like right now I'm in my office still, I got my water and my juice, you know,
Cheers.
and that's, you know, that's it. I'm not consuming bad things through the day or eating stuff that's going to bring me down. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's it. You know, it's like honestly, I wake up at 4:07 a.m. 5 days a week, and it's
Rock and
almost
roll.
like my
Just
alarm
just
doesn't even go
jazzed and
off. I just get
just
up.
jazzed and ready to go. And you don't go
Yes.
to bed. I see a couple comments there from Britt coming in and some others about sleep. And tell me about your sleep. You know, what does that look like? Do you, you know, are you scrolling on Instagram at 10:30, 11 and you know, winding it down for the day? What's your evening routine look like? When do you get to bed? What's that look like?
So, my bedroom, we have a TV in there, but honestly, we never watch it. I just use it like for when my kids get out of the bathtub and if they want to watch something really quick. But no electronics in the room ever.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to my room, that's it. Lights off,
Yeah.
and it's time for bed. I
No
usually try,
electronics. Yeah.
yes, I'll be on my phone, but it'll be like in my living room. And then when I know
Sure.
it's time to go up, that's it. And then I try to go to bed usually around 9,
Mm-hmm.
9:30. You know, 4 a.m. comes pretty quick, and you're not
Yeah.
going to get a good workout or be productive if you're tired. So
Yeah.
that's where I feel like people have to change their priorities. Same
Yeah.
thing like for the weekends, you know. Some people are like, well, how come you don't want to go out on a Friday or do something? Because I'd rather be in bed early so I could get up early on Saturday and have a 3-hour session to myself
Yeah.
to get chiseled, you know? I
Yeah.
don't care about eating bad food and drinking alcohol. That has no interest to me at all.
you've
So,
prioritized what makes you feel good.
hmm
And I think, oftentimes we see that kind of behavior. Oh, going to bed 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on a weeknight. That's okay. But the weekends, you're not gonna go out with us, and get some drinks or what have you. And I think just showing that, one, you've set that method for yourself, that protocol for yourself, but you're not. It's not that maybe you're not perfect. You might go to bed later occasionally here and there, but your consistent goal is to get to bed on time so that you can nail it in the gym the next day and be ready to roll. And I just think
yes,
that's super cool.
yes, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So, I think a lot of people who roll into bed at 11 o'clock or later, they're missing out on that key aspect of health, which is a deep restorative sleep, really deep. That's when our body gets an opportunity to heal itself in a deep method. So, I think that's super key that a lot of people often forget about. They think, well, I'm drinking all this great juice, why do I feel so bad? Well, you have to look at all the other components other than just what you're eating and drinking, relationships, stress, sleep, all these things are exercise, movement, cold exposure, heat exposure, whatever you can do. It's a well-rounded approach rather than just eating and drinking. So I think that's cool, and it sounds like you're really, really digging in on that. And I really resonate with your story too. Oftentimes I think, people, they for me personally, it took a health issue to kind of wake me up. And I think a lot of times people just keep trudging through it, and they think, well, this is just the way it's going to be, and that's the way it's going to be the rest of my life. And I really resonate with the fact that, you took the symptoms that were popping up as the red light coming on, saying, look, we've got issues here, and we've got to dig in before it's too late. So I think, to everyone listening, now live, and those that tune in later, I think it's really important to hear that, you gotta take these signals when they come in and act on them, and it takes time. Just like you, it took me time to kind of warm up to a method that I found that worked for me. It's a progression. We can't just know everything all at once. I still learn, things every day about what works and what doesn't work, and how to help people, feel the way that I feel. And I also picked that out of your message early on here. It also resonates with me a lot, is you feel so great and you love to help people. And I'm certain that you want to help people feel the way you feel because you feel so freaking amazing. And tell
Yes.
me if I'm not right there. I mean, is that the main reason why you do this?
Yes, 110%, Brett. I mean, 110%. I want other people to feel this good. And I wish I had a picture to show the analogy, but there's a picture of that I saw, and it was a man sitting on a recliner. It was a cartoon illustration, and it was a man sitting on a recliner. He was morbidly obese and hooked up to his phone, and it had all the social media apps open. The TV was on. He was sitting by all this food and alcohol, and it was just saying, like, this is basically how Americans are now. And I don't know at what point do people just accept, like, all right, well, you know what, I'm just going to keep going down this route.
Yeah,
And then, who knows, if some health issue comes up or whatever, then I'll figure it out.
yeah,
But I really try to inspire and motivate moms, especially. I know that we have so much on us, we really do. But I just try to show and be a good example to show you that you can do it.
yeah,
I'm 41 years old. I'm going to be 42 in a couple of months. And when people are like, you're 41, like, they can't believe it. And I'm like, it's the juice. I'm like, honestly, I feel so good. I can play with my kids. I'm active. I'm strong. And why wouldn't you want to feel like this? Wouldn't you
yeah,
want to wake up feeling good, energized, confident, happy, healthy, versus waking up, barely rolling out of bed? You feel blah. And then what are you starting your day off with? Coffee,
yeah,
acid, then what? A sausage McMuffin,
Yeah.
you know, again, and it's like all these things are bringing you down, and then before you know it, you've packed on 20 or 30 pounds and you're not feeling good about yourself.
At
And
all.
for a woman especially, you know, it doesn't feel good. So for me, it was, I had 2 kids in 2 years. I have never been one to be concerned about my weight or the numbers. Honestly,
Mm.
I'm a big girl. I'm 5'9", so I'm already big.
Sure.
So I'm like, you know, I've just always been that way. And after I had 2 kids in 2 years, I was really, really big. And I was breastfeeding, and just the weight was not coming off, you know. And after a while, it was just, you know, wearing on me, because I'm like, you know, I want to be a good, healthy, fit mom,
Right.
but I'm overweight and I don't feel good about myself.
Right.
And then I knew the change had to happen, and I'm so thankful I chose this path. My daughters are so proud of me. You know, they see me working out. I'm
Mm.
a good example to them. They try working out with me. They drink the juice. So really, it's all about health and inspiring, educating, motivating. You know, that's really my goal, and that is my passion. You know, to help everyone. But like I said, especially moms, because I know how you feel. I've been there. I've been in your shoes, and
Mm.
now look. You know, look at Brett and
Yeah.
I. It's like when you meet people within the juicing community. It's like this is not a pretend thing or a joke. I mean, we really do feel so good, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
And shout out to you. You know, you're you know, you have a professional career. You're a working mother, and you've prioritized this, and you're working to set a great example for your children as well. And I think that's super cool, and it's a great example for all the women out there who, you know, have these similar issues. And there's so much information out there and so much misinformation out there. I think that it's really tough to know what's the best course of action to take, you know, as a mother, you know, as a working person, as a super busy career person. You know, I just think that's super cool that you're helping specifically women with children, you know, that have those same issues. You've been there and you've done that and you've conquered it and you continue to conquer it. So super cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we've kind of got a little bit of your story and your you know, journey of how you've arrived here, and you hinted a little bit at um, you got some certification in juicing. Tell me more about that.
Yes. So I enrolled in the Juice Guru Institute. If you're not familiar, Steve Prusak is the
Yeah.
Juice Guru.
Okay. Cool.
And I had reached out, and then he had sent me an email and was like, if you're serious about it, we'll have a Zoom. And, you know, he's like, are you a person of integrity? You're not going to like not show up. I'm like, oh, I'm a person of integrity. I will be there. Okay. So I got to have a Zoom with him, and it was just amazing. I mean, he is just, wow, something else, truly an amazing
Cool.
man. So we talked about everything, and then they had a special for COVID with their tuition and stuff. So
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I decided last year I'm going to do it, and I will put in, you know, 30 to 60 minutes every day from the time I sign up till the time I graduate.
Just
And
dig
that's
in.
exactly what I did. You know, I dedicated every morning, and I put in my time. And then there is a midterm, then there's a final. The midterm is kind of like a little mini dissertation. I mean, it
Okay.
is a lot, you know, but the courses and what you learn through there is absolutely amazing. I mean, just the naturopathic doctors, Jake Kordich, his story,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just all the things that you learn about the gut, inflammation, chlorophyll. I mean, just so many things. And I was like, wow, you know, and even though now I'm a certified juice therapist, I'm still learning so much
Sure.
stuff. You know, it never ends. Um, and then just learning how juices can be used as a medicinal modality, which is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely amazing. And that's what I would try to teach my clients is, you know, nothing is more powerful than the plants.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, that is it. You know, that is the true medicine. And that's why sometimes people can't handle it right away because, you
Yeah.
know, it's so potent to their body or they
Mm-hmm.
have so many toxins and it just, you know, gets them like that. But
Right.
the certification was really good. I did my final, said a prayer, And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to get at least 90 or higher to pass. So I was like, okay, I'm like, I'm smart, I got this. But then I'm like taking it and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I gonna pass? Then I got it and I was like, oh my God. So after that, there's several different ways you can take your business, obviously. They tell you different things that you can do. And I had thought about some of them. I was like, a juice bar, that would be so awesome. But I'm thinking a brick and mortar during this time, and then I'm thinking about fresh fruit, the cost, this and that. I mean, I was like, no, I don't know. Then there's stuff that you could do like with farmers markets, or you can pair up with someone. They have retreats, or like what I'm doing, the coaching services and things like that. So there's different ways that you can take your business, and they're totally supportive. I did the mastery program. I highly recommend it if anybody's looking to do this. I mean, the schooling is absolutely wonderful. It's totally at your own pace. There's videos, PDFs. You got to teach yourself. And then, once you get it, that's it, man. So the sky's the limit.
So you're primarily then working kind of one-on-one with coaching clients then?
Yes. So I offer coaching services, and then I have a 10-day detox program right now that includes food and smoothies before transitioning into juice.
Nice.
So yes, I have other programs as well that I'm in the process of working on, but they're not out yet. So
okay. Well, speaking of other programs, I saw a post a couple of days ago about a raw retreat that you're having down here in Florida. So tell me more about that.
Yes. So the wonderful Britt, Kat, and I have collaborated on a retreat.
Cool.
I met Britt through Instagram. Same thing with Kat. Again, the power of social media. I mean, these girls are absolutely amazing. I always tell everybody that Britt is the one that taught me and showed me the way. I mean, I'm so thankful for her. I just remember, a couple of years ago, like trying to get in her DMs, like, hey, I got a question. Can you help me? And then she responded. I'm like, oh my God, she responded to me, so happy. I'm like, she talked to me. And now we're like super cool. She's my girl, but yeah, so she really taught me and helped me so much, really like guided me before I knew a lot of stuff, talking about, different things to mix, how to do the juice and stuff. And then Kat is really into the raw foods, and I am, I do raw foods, but nothing like she's on a whole nother level. I mean, I'm like, wow, like she needs her own TV show for real. So, we were kind of all talking, and a lot of people have asked us, about this. Like, would you guys ever host a retreat, or would you ever do anything? We'd love to come meet you. So we kind of put something together, and I was like, this is something that we could possibly do and collaborate on everything, and decided, maybe we'll do a Costa Rica. And then we kind of talked about that, and then we thought with the passports and everything, that might not be good for everyone. So we found Homestead, Florida. There is a 500-acre fruit park down there that we're going to go, and I cannot wait. Have you been there?
I haven't. No, it's on the list now that we're down here a little more often to check that out. So I'm excited to check it out.
Yes, absolutely amazing. So we're doing this retreat, and then each day we're gonna have like a little workshop. It'll be like a live hands-on experience for everyone. So one of the days I'm going to do a workshop, talk about the basics of juicing, kind of teach everybody, just how to get started with juicing, how to cut the fruit, what kind of juices you can have with what. And then Britt's going to do like detoxification, talk about different raw foods, and then as well as Kat's going to be doing raw foods, talking about regenerative detoxification.
Cool.
And then just trying to help people get more accustomed to this lifestyle. And again, it goes back to helping people and, showing them the way. And then like I tell people, just like I tell my clients, I can show you the way and help you, but at the end of the day, you are the one that really heals yourself,
Yeah,
so,
it's like you put in the real work. You had to learn the methods, but ultimately it comes down to you putting in the real work. And so I think that's an important, very important message. I'm glad that's a big part of it for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me when again is the retreat?
So it's going to be July 15th through 18th.
Okay.
And it's going to be, a small retreat. We're having an exclusive. We're keeping it smaller because this is the first one. Just kind of want to keep it more intimate. And then just hoping, to have people that really become inspired and change and walk away from this knowing that they're equipped and empowered with the knowledge and the passion to continue this, because really, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm hoping that the people that come to this want this and they want to learn more about it, or they're about to get on this path. So I just saw a thing in the chat here. Yes, there's.
Yeah, I see that. So that was going to be my next question: is where can folks find out more about that? But it looks like Britt has posted Road to Raw Retreat. So if you're interested in that, click on Road to Raw Retreat. Check that out. Sounds like a fantastic program. Yeah, it's three days.
Yes.
3 days.
It's going to be
fun. Do folks stay on site there, or is it lodging nearby, or how's that work?
Yes, everyone will all be together there. So totally fine. I'm hoping. Well, I don't know actually how far the fruit park is from where we're staying, but everything is pretty much centrally located, so it shouldn't be too far. And I'm really hoping that it's not only like a raw food and juicing experience, but a whole like spiritual experience as well. I really want people to feel alive, empowered, high vibrations. I'm all about that. So yes.
Yeah, well, if it's anything like your Instagram feed, I think people are going to be pretty jazzed by the time they finish this 3 days, because if I need a little inspiration in my day, I just go to Evie Kevish's Instagram page, and I'm on it. I'm ready. So,
thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's the truth for sure. And so that's the inaugural retreat. Do you think that might be an annual thing, or like every 6 months, or how do you guys think? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question. So I absolutely feel this will be an annual thing.
Okay, cool.
We were starting, like I said, the first year just to kind of see, but absolutely plan on expanding these, and as more come to this, we might branch it off. I would say maybe, 10 or have some in the Midwest, some in the West Coast, East Coast, like maybe do it like that so more people are able to come.
Sure, a little more centrally located in different regions, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So it's awesome because I feel like a lot of the people I've connected with are in the Midwest. So I'm like, at some point, maybe all of us can have a big Midwest thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless. And I'm like, when Evie Kevish touches something, it turns to gold. So whatever I say happens, it's going to happen, okay?
That's awesome. That is super cool. Yeah, I couldn't I don't doubt you at all on that for sure.
Thank you.
So we've kind of heard your journey and how you arrived at where you're at. Tell me maybe some challenges. This is not all roses all the time when you get into the juicing lifestyle and improving your health. And people tend to see on Instagram and social media, they tend to see the good stuff all the time. And I think sometimes, a lot of times we think about, everyone who's an influencer or has an account, everything's all rosy all the time. Maybe drop some challenges that you've had to face through all of this.
Sure.
I'd be curious to hear about that, and I think people listening in would be curious to hear some challenges.
Sure. So, as you just said, I mean, most of the time people are sharing their highlights on social media. Sure. Nobody's going to post, they had a bad day. Well, some people do. Yeah. But, I'm not the type to post that. Right. And I have bad days,
positive.
Yeah. I am a super positive, optimistic person. Mm-hmm. And I am all about good energy, high vibes, and being happy. However, reality, sets in, and there's those days, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, there are days when it is very stressful. I will tell you, the juice is a chore. All right. Yeah. I make like over 600 ounces of juice a week for my entire family. Okay.
I see it.
And
you're not just juicing for one, you're juicing for the entire family.
Yes. And, you know, as a certified juice therapist, I always tell people the best way to consume it is to make it and drink it immediately. That is the
Sure.
best way. As you know, that's how you get the most
Yeah.
vitamins, minerals, and
Nutritionally
nutrients.
speaking, yeah.
However, I work full time and I'm a mom, so
Yeah.
this is the
Life
way
happens.
that I do it for my family.
Yeah.
Now, there are times, I'll be honest, that I don't feel like making the juice because it's a chore, okay?
Right.
It takes, like, my husband helps me out, but to make all the juice, it takes about 3 to 4 hours, okay?
Yeah. And you're making it for a period of time, like 4 or 5 days at a crack, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So my thing is I know that if I don't do it, nobody's gonna do it. So I
Yeah.
have to do it. I have to do it. I
Right.
can't accept not having juice. I just can't do it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where sometimes stress sets in.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I might be, I don't know, you know, it's like, oh gosh, I gotta do this or whatever. And
Mhm.
then there are days I'll tell you, you know, like just regular days, stress from work, you know, or the kids, or there's just so much stuff, and it's like, oh
Just
my God, I'm
life
gonna
in
lose
general.
it. Yes, yes, absolutely. So for the most part, I feel like I'm always like in pretty good spirits or whatever. But yes, we all have our days, we all have our moments, we all have our time. I mean, yes, there are times, you know, I'll just break down and cry. My friend texted me the other day and he said was telling me some nice stuff, whatever. And then I just felt like crying because I'm like, why am I crying over it? You know, I'm like, I don't know. But I feel like, you know, people, yes, I feel like everyone has their emotions and goes through their days and stuff like that. But I will tell you that the juice really is a catalyst to help you feel good and be in a better mood and be in good spirits.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really is, you know. Um, so yeah, that's it. You know, it's like I don't, like I said, I have my days, and I'm Puerto Rican, so I can get. You
So
better watch out.
there's some the fire emoji comes out sometimes,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
a girl can get crazy too. Okay, you know, ask my husband. But you know, honestly, overall, I feel like, you know, we're all humans. We all have our days, our moments, our time. But it's just how you handle that.
Yeah.
And I personally feel like I'm on a path to grow and get better, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to. You know, I
Yeah.
feel as a mom, sometimes I feel guilty because I work. You know, and even though I work from home, I was already working from home before Corona happened. And sometimes that's challenging for me as a mom and
Hmm.
as a woman, a wife, because it's like I'm trying to be a good mom. But
Yeah.
then when my kids are coming in my office or crawling under my desk and work is like
Yeah.
crazy,
What
then
a
it's like
challenge.
I'm ready to lose it, you know?
Yeah.
But that's where I kind of got to step back and think about, okay, you know, all right, you got your oils on. I did yoga this morning. You know, like, don't
Yeah.
be
Get
like
centered.
that. Yeah, 'cause I don't want to carry that bad attitude and bad spirit with me like that. So I try to work on, you know, being a better person every day. I don't
Yeah.
pass every day, but I try.
Yeah, and I think that goes, that's the same with everyone. We all have those days, and it's really a matter of how we handle it, how we approach it, and our attitudes with it. I think that's definitely one thing that I've found since I started juicing intensively, and I've kind of cleared out some blockages in my whole system.
Mhm.
I feel like my mood is so much better and so much more even keeled, and I, occasionally can have a temper like you. It's the Irish in me, I suppose, that has a little bit of a temper. But I find I'm way much more even keeled than I ever have been as I've progressed through this, juicing journey and done some cleanses to kind of get centered and work on that. And I really feel that's super key to be able to deal with life's everyday challenges. We face them all the time. It doesn't matter who we are, at what
Mhm.
level you are, where you're at, what age you are. We're always going to face these things, and how we approach those challenges, I think, kind of in a way defines us. So I really appreciate you sharing that as a major challenge. And it would be, I don't have children, but I can imagine how it would be trying to work and having those those little ones coming in and interrupting your day, and how it would be easy to react and kind of knee jerk react to that. But having the
Yeah.
patience and the clarity of your mindset, I think, probably allows you to handle that. handle that well.
Yes, thank you. And I just want to add two things to that. One, I will tell you, just to make you guys laugh, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was on my team Zoom call, and my kids know not to come to my office when I'm on my call. But when I was off, I went to go check on them, and my daughter cut a huge chunk of her hair off. Jesus, take the wheel. Oh my God. I mean, that was one of those days, Brent. Oh my God. I saved the hair and I'm like, all right, maybe one day I'll laugh at this, but not today, honey. Not today. All right. So that was the day I did not pass. And then the second thing is, something else to think about is when you are, like you said, because the juice puts you in the mood, it has these feelings and stuff, and vice versa. When you're putting low vibrational foods in your body and acidic foods, you're not going to have that energy and feel happy and good because you're on that low vibration and those acidic foods. So in turn, do you think that that's going to make you feel full of life and energy? No, it's not. So yes, when you have that mind, body, soul connection, you know.
You feel it. And I remember the very first time I felt it. I was in the midst of a 30-day juice only. It was the first time I did that, and it was so transformative to me. I decided to change my entire career. Like I haven't felt this way in 20 years, and it was so moving, such a moving experience to me, to feel human again, to feel real again, and feel that energy and feel that vitality that I had to change. I just had to keep going in that direction to know what else was there. And I have a feeling you've experienced that same feeling, or you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now. So that's
absolutely. And I love when you shared before, maybe last year, that you had traded beers and brats for juices and fruits. I just love that.
Yeah. And
I love it.
what it was, what it was. I would finish up work and sometimes I'd even have some drinks. I was in the alcohol industry, so I would have some drinks before I finished working, a lot of times, and the food that came with it, and the energy that came with it, and the lethargy that came with it, and the hangovers that came with it. And I just I had to change, and I'm glad that I did change, and I'm going to keep that energy rolling, and I know you will. I know you will as well.
Yes. I've been alcohol free for, I think 16 months now. So
very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a huge change for me too. And I used to get, this is a wild thing, I used to get in the morning after I would drink, like these guilty feelings. I posted last week, I had a receipt I found in my pocket the next day, and it was a receipt for like some papaya, some young coconuts, a durian, and I looked at that receipt and I'm like, used to be on Sunday mornings, I would look at my receipts and how much I spent at the bars and not really even know. And just like that feeling flooded me of how I felt when I would be out drinking or out with friends and like not really even know exactly what happened. And I'm so glad that I don't have those feelings anymore. And the fact that it was that way, just kind of, it kind of baffles me that I was that way at that point. But it was fun to look at my receipt and say, oh, I spent $30 on a durian rather than $30 at the bar. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I can really resonate with the alcohol-free lifestyle. It's done a lot for me, and I'm very glad that I worked my way out of it, for sure. Definitely.
Good. Yeah.
Would you have some time? Maybe we can take a few questions and see. Let's kind of scroll through here a little bit. I am Sherry has a question. Thanks for tuning in. It takes you 3 to 4 hours to make how many ounces of juice? How many ounces do you say you usually make?
Usually 600 or more.
600 ounces. So that's like, gosh, how many gallons? That's like 5 gallons.
Yeah, I do. I make quarts for my husband and I, and then my kids, I'll do like 12 or 16 ounce jars. and then I'll
Right.
have enough for every day of the week. And then if they want other ones, and just yeah, so I load them up.
Very cool. Very cool. And do you package that and put it all in the fridge and it's good to go?
Yes, and I put them in order. So depending on the acidity, it's like this one, the one I'm drinking right now is honeydew. So if I have honeydew or cantaloupe, that goes towards the front. Same thing if there's any lemon or lime, because you know
Hmm.
by the fourth, fifth day it'll be sour. So
Sure.
I know I'll have to drink those first. But yeah,
And
I'll put them in order, and I know that's the way to go.
drink those kind of in that order. Yeah,
Mhm.
cool. Um, Another question from Sherry. What juicer do you use? The pure juicer? What juicer do you use?
You know, I get this all the time, you guys, and this is so funny because I don't have anything special. When I started juicing, I bought a cheap juicer on Amazon. It's called Fam Top,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I've seen
they
it.
don't sell them anymore. And
Oh,
I
no
mean,
way.
I told the guy, I'm like, and he actually was working with me, so I'm like, give me a juicer to give away. 'Cause so many people ask me about it. He's like, all right, I'll give you one. So he did, and then after I did the giveaway, 2 months later they quit selling it. I'm like,
No
bro, you got
kidding.
all these people asking me. So I don't have anything fancy or spectacular. I am hoping one day I can get a Mercedes Benz pure
Yeah, yeah.
juicer like Brett. When I saw that pulp, I'm like, oh my God. One day I'll get that thing. But yes,
Yeah.
nothing fancy or special yet. But you know, the amazing thing, and actually I was just answering some DMs before I got on this call. People always ask me how many times I have to clean it out while I'm juicing. And I'll tell you, never. When
No,
I'm
that's good.
juicing, I can juice the entire time. I don't have to take the auger. I don't have to do anything. I have no problems at all. So
That's cool.
I'm
That's
like,
good.
until it breaks, or unless someone gives me one, I'm like, I'm not going to buy one. So,
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's an important message to share with everyone who's listening in or might listen in later is that it doesn't need to be the end all be all super expensive juicer
mhm.
for you to receive the benefits. And you're an example of that. You didn't, go out and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a juicer. And I think it's important for folks to remember that the best juicer that you can get is the one that you use the most consistently. That's the best juicer that you can have, is the one that you use, religiously, consistently, daily, or every other day as a daily habit. So I think it's just very important for people to know that. And sure, some juicers are better than others, and for me, I've kind of worked my way up, and I've kind of have an addiction,
I know
instead
you
of
got them all, man.
and I like to do the reviews, and I like to help people kind of find one that fits their needs, but you don't have to do that. You don't, it's not necessary. I love, the pure juicer that I have. I feel like it gets the best yield and the best nutrition and all those things, but it's not, you don't have to have that to do exactly what Evie is doing. I think it's just very important to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Let's see. Burakurta says, just started juicing the first time today. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's super cool. Let's see. Any other questions here? Yeah, there's the roadtораw.com website for the retreat that you've got coming up in July.
Yep.
Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see.
Oh, Papaya Girl, congratulations. 92 days juice only. Yes,
Yeah,
girl.
super
That's what's
cool.
up. Wow.
Yeah, I don't see any other questions as we roll through here, unless we see some coming in at the end. But okay, here we go. Do you always use recipes, or do you just wing it? Yeah, how do you do it?
So I use what's on sale. So
Okay,
I get my groceries through Instacart most of the time. So I get most of them at Aldi, and I will get whatever's on sale and then make it from there. Sometimes I don't get stuff on sale, or I can't find it, or I'm really craving something that they don't have, so I'll have to get it from another store. But yeah, for the most of the time, I try to drink the colors of the rainbow, so I'll make a different
cool.
color for every day of the week.
Just keep the variety, as much variety as possible.
Yes.
Super cool. Um, I think that's a great place to kind of wrap this up. If you have any kind of a parting message that you'd like to share with folks that are listening in, I would love for you to do that. and we can kind of, I know you're a busy lady and you've got things going on, so we can kind of work our way that direction.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you again, Brett, so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. I'm very honored to be interviewed by you. And if I can tell you guys this, it is this. We are all on our own paths and journeys, you know, and you have to find what works best for you and only you, you know, and people like myself and Brett, we are here to help you. We know we can help you and show you the way, but at the end of the day, you are the one that makes that decision. You are the only person that can heal yourself. And again, if you create the right conditions for your body, you can be healed from your ailments, sickness, disease. But again, you have to be open to it. And this is not something that I would ever force on someone. It's just when you're ready and when you want it, I'm here for you. That's what I tell
Go
people.
for it.
So,
Yeah, that's great. That's a great message, Evie. And I am super glad that you took some time out of your busy schedule to meet up with me and chat about all these things. And I know everyone has loved to hear about your journey and your story. And I think it's one that will be able to resonate with so many people because you're a mom, you're a, you know, a spouse, you're a businesswoman, you have a professional career. And I think so many people can take inspiration from that. You know, you're banging it out in the gym every morning at 5 a.m. And I think so many people can take inspiration from that in so many ways. So I really appreciate you taking some time with me. I'm losing daylight. It's like, you know, it's the sunset's
I
happening.
know, I got my light ring on. It's already over here too, so.
Yeah. So thanks again, Evie, and everybody check out Evie's Instagram account. Check out the retreat that she's got going on later on this year, this summer. And I think you'll really enjoy all of that. So thanks again, Evie.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Cheers, everyone.
All right. Bye.